Hello and welcome to future students from all around the world at the University of Roehampton London Online Meet Our Student webinar series. We have a fantastic webinar today where we meet our student on our project management course, Elysée Sindayigaya, who's studying with us and is recently graduated. So we have a full agenda for you today where you get to ask your questions to our student. My name is Joseph O'Brien, and I'll be your moderator for today. We also have my colleague Hugo, who is in the back end, who's taking all of your questions. So let's go through the agenda today. First, we're going to ask Elysée why he chose to study online and look a bit about the nature of online study. We're going to ask Elysée about his classroom and the type of students that he's met along the way. We're going to ask about our instructors at the University of Roehampton and the relationships that our students have with those instructors. A bit of a look on how you actually study online. A lot of students and prospective students that are listening today may never have studied online, so it's very good for us to kind of show you what's inside the box, so to speak, so you can see what studying online is all about. Then we have some next steps, some practical steps for those that are going through our application process. And at the end of the session, we have a Q&A, and that's an opportunity to ask Elysée any questions that might arise from this presentation. You will see a question and answer Q&A box that's sitting there in your overview. Please go in there and type any question that you feel that you might want answered, and later on in the presentation those questions will be taken and fed to Elysée, who will hope to answer some of your burning questions today. We also will have a poll, and our poll is an opportunity to ask you some multiple choice questions and see how much you know about the process, about the University of Roehampton Online and our modules and courses. So without any further ado, let's meet Elysée Sindayigaya. Hello, Elysée. How are you?
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Elysée. Can you tell the participants today a bit about your background and where you're from?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Elysée. Can you hear me clearly?
Good. Yes.
Okay, so what is your background, Elysée? I understand you're not a project manager initially. What's your background in?
Yeah, my name is Elysée Sindayigaya. I'm coming from Burundi, but actually I'm currently working in DRC, and I have a BA in law, and I just finished a master's program at Roehampton London Online.
Perfect. And when is your graduation ceremony, Elysée?
Yeah, it will be in February.
And you must be looking very much forward to that graduation ceremony. So thank you very much for joining us. This is a nice opportunity that our students have today, Elysée, to ask you some questions about your journey. It's a real rare opportunity that we get to speak to someone who has been through our whole course. And so I'd like to ask you some questions about, why you chose Roehampton, why you chose to study online, and why you chose to do project management. So to start at the beginning, what made you choose a master's in project management, Elysée? Because your background, as you say, is in law.
Yes, as I said, I have background in law, but when I started working, I was working for international organizations, working on development projects, especially supporting justice systems. And as a lawyer, technically I was really very good, but I lacked, at a certain moment, I discovered that I was lacking, management skills, especially managing projects. And I was thinking that it would be good if I can go back to school and register in project management program. And I conducted a small research on the internet to see exactly what kind of program I should register in. I read many information about a couple of universities, but I found that University of Roehampton has a great program that was really matching my needs.
Ideal. So, I mean, a project management qualification, a lot of prospective students, working professionals will be thinking, Why do the Masters in Project Management? There are small courses available. We all know of the Prince 2 or the Lean Sigma 6. There's Agile, and there's all the number of small qualifications. Why did you feel that you wanted to do the full Masters qualification, Elysée?
Yes. Before I had the same idea, doing something during 3 months or a semester. But I found out that it would be good if I can really get the whole program in project management,
yes.
because as my daily work is to manage programs, and I have to deal with budgeting, budget tracking, strategic management, leadership, and it was the only way to have to gain those skills, all of those skills in during almost 2 years.
Perfect. And that's something that we're also going to discuss a bit later, Elysée, that you touched upon there. That's the kind of skills that you learn on the module that you put into your work environment. And why did you choose the online format instead of a campus-based program?
Yeah, I decided to take online format because as you know, I was working, and the online format was really good because it was flexible. I continued working, doing my normal work, my normal job, and also continuing studying. Of course, that I had to adjust my time management, but it was interesting as it's flexible.
Okay, that's very, very true. So the flexibility of the course was attractive to you in terms of making up your own time, and then so you eventually chose to study online. So that's excellent. So we'll come back to Elysée in a second in order to discuss further Elysée's online experience with Roehampton. But without any further ado, there is a poll question to answer today, and we have a poll for all of you participants, so please go to the polls. It's a multiple choice, and the poll question for today is, how much experience do you have with online learning? So that's how much experience do you have with online learning? You can answer A, yes, I've studied online before and I am experienced. You can answer B, some experience, I've done an online training course prior to studying. C, no, I have no experience and this is my first time studying online, or the first time you're thinking about possibly studying online. So please submit those questions and we'll return to them very shortly with our answers. So thank you very much for that. So Elysée, we have a very large student community at the University of Roehampton Online. Can you tell us a bit about the global nature of your class and the kind of places in the world that our students came from that you've met along your journey? Did you have a lot of experience with people from all across the world?
Yes, my class community was very diverse. We had people like me from Burundi, maybe 2 or 4 from Nigeria, or from Qatar, from Ghana, and from Asia, and even from China. It was really, and from England, and it was really diverse. We had many nationalities.
Nice. And I assume. Sorry, Elysée, continue.
I was saying that this is very enriching because we had, various experience and also living in diverse areas of the world, and we brought in, when we were talking, especially in shared activities, where we were every single individual who were participating in the shared activities were bringing in, another experience from in other areas.
Well, and that's for those that may not be aware of how we teach on our courses at Roehampton Online is we do have something called a collaborative learning model, which is very different from a lecture where someone will be standing in front of you delivering a lecture and then you'll have to go back and do homework. We have a collaborative model. Elysée, can you shed some light on this collaborative model in terms of what you have to do? Say, what is a typical week of work in a module, Elysée, and how do you do that work?
Yeah, a module is divided in 7 units, and each unit lasts 2 weeks. And during each unit, most of unit we had what we call shared activities, and we had reads, articles we had to read, and also we had those shared activities where we were, exchanging experience, reflecting on concepts, on topics, and sharing information, commenting, giving feedback, and receiving feedback from other classmates. And this was really interesting. And during the whole process, we had this kind of collaborative learning, and we had, of course, an instructor that was supervising, orienting people and giving direction. But when we were talking, there were no bad or very good answer. We were, exchanging information, but the teacher, the instructor was there to direct or to comment or to bring new concepts or new information on the debate.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think what we always describe to anyone looking at our programs is that our instructors, as you say, you use the word enablers. Our instructors are there to enable the discussion, but without the students pushing the discussion forward between them, there wouldn't be any work. So our work is completely collaborative, and this is the collaborative model that you might hear your enrollment consultant talk about, or other people representing the program will discuss this collaborative model. And it's really how work is assessed through an ongoing discussion, but that discussion is an academic one. And as Elysée says, you are using journals to build up your arguments and push that argument forward using everyone's experience. So bringing learning to life, and this brings us to the next phase. Elysée, you've gone through the whole program, so you've had, a number of instructors. I imagine, 8 modules. You probably had eight different instructors, maybe. You've also had, someone to help you with your dissertation. Did you have a favorite instructor, Elysée? Are there any memorable moments?
Yes and no, but yes, no, because all the instructors were really very good, and they were supportive, responsiveness when we were, sending them emails, messages to ask for support or information, clarification. They were always responding on Sunday, on Saturday, and this was very interesting. But of course, my supervisor, the instructor who supervised my research project, of course, that he's my favorite, because also we passed many months working on this research. As maybe new students don't know this, the research project lasts for 6 months.
Yes, this is a six-month project, Roehampton, that happens at the end of all your modules, and that's the big piece of work. Otherwise, it can be called a dissertation, and we call that a research project. And what happens on the course is that you'll be partnered up with a dissertation advisor, and that dissertation advisor will have a certain specialization that will complement what your dissertation topic is. And I think that leads us into a very nice area. Your dissertation topic, and we have here skills for today and tomorrow. So I'd like to talk about your dissertation a bit, and some of the actual content from the modules that you managed to bring into your working environment. Just to recap, Elysée is a practicing lawyer, and Elysée, what was your dissertation subject on? We have a hint here. I know we have stakeholder management as one of the clouds here. What was the dissertation title?
Yeah, my dissertation title is Analysis of the Impact of External Stakeholders on project and construction projects.
Wow.
And maybe for new students, what exactly this means. I try to analyze the impact of people who are not linked to the project, what we call external stakeholders. There are internal stakeholders who are people who are linked to the project, let's say project sponsor, project management team. But there are also people who are not linked to the project because they don't have any contract with the project. But unfortunately or fortunately, some people can influence the project positively or negatively, or can undergo influence, positive or negative influence from the project. This was my dissertation research.
Well, thank you very much. And did this, in doing this research, did it help you in your day-to-day working life? Did it make you see certain things differently than maybe before?
Yes, because this dissertation is in the what we call strategic management, and strategic management is really interesting and important when you are managing a project. You know, for example, let's say the first paragraph or section of my dissertation I was talking about who is a stakeholder and what kind of needs and expectation different stakeholders have on the project. And this is what exactly I have to do in my daily work. When I'm implementing a project, I have to identify my stakeholders. Let's say on a justice support project, who are my stakeholders? Let's say Ministry of Justice team, staff, and police, and community members. You know, I have to identify them and see what are exactly their expectations from the project. And this will help me at the end of the project or at the middle of the project to measure if the project was a success. Maybe we have time to talk about this.
So that was your dissertation topic. As you were learning to become a project manager, were there other learnings from the course that you managed to use at work as well, apart from just stakeholder management?
Yes, I think most of all the modules, the courses I got at Roehampton were really useful. You know, the first module was about leadership, how to lead a team, what kind of leadership we can find, what are really interesting. And if you are managing a project, of course, the first asset you have to think about is that you are managing a team, people, and people are not like boxes or materials. They think they live in products. They live in environment, and you have always to motivate them. And some studies showed that people management is a key project success factors, and this was also interesting. Leadership, and also I learned, for example, also how to evaluate, to assess risks. In every project implementation, you always have risks. You have to know how to appraise them, how to find, how to mitigate, and to be able to mitigate the risks. You have, first of all, to know how to identify them, how to weight them, to know the probability and the potential impact of the risks.
Yes, well, thank you very much. And obviously, you know, it's very practical for project management, looking at stakeholders, looking at risk. And I think, you know, the project management masters does provide more opportunities than you could imagine for the practical implementation of learnings directly in the work environment. And so, students like Elysée are able to take stuff directly from the classroom directly into the office, and I think that's a wonderful opportunity. So with that in mind, Elysée, we've talked a lot about your experience, but many prospective students might want to know a bit more about what the interface looks like, what the practicalities are. Where are these stakeholders in terms of their community, their student community, their support community, some of the staff members here that we have at Roehampton? So we have this slide, and it's called "What is INSPIRENET?" So what is INSPIRENET, Elysée? Can you tell our participants?
INSPIRENET is a platform where you go, and through this platform you can go to you can get news, and you can navigate through the platform and go to class. And if you enter, actually it's like at your university campus, and when you navigate through, go to class, you will see news from your class, and you will see the articles you have to read. Actually, it's very simple to operate. When I started, I was thinking that it was going to be very difficult, but after a couple of minutes, it was very easy, and it's also very flexible.
Well, thank you very much. So this is all about studying online and whether students have studied online before. And hopefully you'll remember that we had a poll earlier. And so it's time to ask my colleague Hugo whether he can fire those poll results over to us, and we can see what the experience of our participants is like in terms of whether they've studied online before. So let's have a look at those poll results. So we have a majority saying that they do not have any experience, 62%, and this is my first time studying online. Then a quarter of participants out there today have some experience, done a little bit of online training. And only a small amount have saying that they have studied online before. So it is, for many people, a new and exciting area for education. And it's good to see that there's varying experience that you do have, and hopefully today you'll have some aha moments in terms of understanding how online learning works, and also feeling secure that online learning now is extremely reputable and accredited. On to our next look at the interface, Elysée. How do you study online? What we have here is a picture of our learning platform, Blackboard. Can you just go through what happens when a new week in class has started, and where would you go on the interface, and what would you do? Can you take students through the steps, Elysée?
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. When you are at the beginning of the module, you have to navigate through the INSPIRENET platform and go to class. Click on go to class, and after you will see like that you have in your module you have 6 units, and you have to sign. You have the name of the module. For example, the first module is learning and leading in a dynamic era. And yeah, you have the unit progress, and you have, or you can click, you have unit 1, 2 to 6. And if you click, you have at the right of the module, you have the objective of the module. And if you click on unit 1, you will see that you have read articles, a number of articles, and you have the objectives also of the unit, and you have shared activities and individual assignment. And yeah.
So for any prospective students who haven't seen the online learning platform before, or do not understand the model that we have in terms of the assessment, at Roehampton, as Elysée has pointed out, we have 6 units per module of 2 weeks each. They're called learning units, And here on the module home, you can see the units broken down from unit 1 to 6. If you click on those, you'll see all of the required reading material and the assignments. There are shared activities, and that's what Elysée was referring to earlier in terms of participating in discussions in your classroom. And that's graded, and they're academic discussions that are had. Then there are individual assignments, and those are feedback grades that are given from your instructor. And then at the end of the module, each student is to hand in a final module project, which has to do with the topic of that particular module. So for this one, Leading and Learning in a Dynamic Era, students will have to discuss the nature of leadership with each other, and then work towards a final module project about how leadership works in their organization or an organization on their choice, and how they fit within that organization. So it's a nice opportunity to actually be very practical, looking at the business and the work that you do, and making sure that your work is really relevant to what you're studying. So yeah, thank you very much, Elysée, for that. One of the big questions that we have, Elysée, is time. No one has the time to study, to work. It's very, very difficult to balance. But if you want to do a master's, then you need to find the time. So how do you find the time to study, Elysée? How do you manage and balance your work and your studies?
Yeah, I had the same idea, saying, oh, I don't have time before. I don't have time. I cannot do a master's degree even if it's online. But what I would say to prospective students is that you have time. It's possible to balance family, business, and work, and also studying. But what exactly you need to do is you have to plan. You have to be well organized, and you have to have a very good plan. And what is interesting is that as you will, the first module, you will learn about how also to communicate online. And also there are many tools on INSPIRENET that will help you to plan your time. And I think it's a kind of decision you have to take, and also stick on your principles. You have time. You don't need to study like 5 or 6 hours a day, but you have to give a portion of time daily or to your studies, and it's possible you can make it.
So in terms of, you're saying, you don't need to study 5-6 hours a day, but how do you structure your week? When do you do most of your work? Do you do it on one day or spread out? I know you have discussions to have. How does your normal week shape up? Yeah,
I'm not sure if all the others were doing the same, but I found out that many of my classmates adopted this strategy. I think the strategy I use is that I was dedicating 2 to 3 hours a day to my studies, reading my articles, commenting, providing feedback, doing my reflection. Every day, I was, giving myself one day. It was on Sunday that I was not studying, but I was trying to give a small amount of time to my studies every day, instead of saying, oh, on Saturday I don't work, I will do it on Saturday. Yeah, I think if you decide to work only on Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be very hard, because at the end of the week you will feel that you are tired. The good strategy is to be well organized, to have a plan, and to stick on your plan.
Thank you very much. It's a strategy of little and often. Elysée, the last thing anyone thinks about before they start an online or any master's program is their support network. But what ends up happening is once they start and embark on a master's program, the first thing they think about is their support network. Normally that comes in the face of, in the guise of family members and colleagues. What is your support network, Elysée? Can you describe how you get support?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure if I told you this. I'm married, and I have 2 kids. When I was doing this program, I I had two kids, and I tried to convince my family that, of course, my kids are very small, and the old one knew that I was studying, but my wife was really supportive. I think it's good to have a supportive network around you if you are married, your husband or your wife, and also try to, before to do it, to talk to friends, telling them that it's your decision. I know that friends will tell you, no, it's very hard, but you have, in life, you have to have principles, and even if they are friends, I think some will be supportive and other not, but I think you have to take your decision. But it's good to have your family supporting you on this. And I think also you can plan together. For example, always when you have a family plan, try to think about your studies. Where are you going to put your studies in your family plan? And if you find this, it's going to be easy.
Perfect. I mean, I'm studying online as well, Elysée, and so, it definitely means having a supportive wife, and I couldn't agree with you more about that, and family and friends as well. And also my colleagues, they are also aware that I'm studying, and I'm also very happy when I bring stuff from the course into work, some of the theory that we bring in. And that brings us nicely, Elysée, onto our support services. Have you ever used any of our support services, like student support? And also, can you describe a bit about your initial relationship with your enrollment advisor?
Yes, I had good relationship with the enrollment advisor, because she helped me, to register, to go through like the whole process, registration process, and this she was very nice, and and she was really good. She did a great job and on this, but at certain moment she disappeared, and because when I was starting to study, I had another unit, what they call student support, that were, replying to my questions.
Yes.
You don't have to go back to the enrollment advisor. And when you have questions about, bursary or tech question, you can always ask the question. They are always they provide prompt response, especially for the tech, the IT questions. There is another unit called IT support. Sometimes new students don't know this. That's why they send the question to student support, and they address you to this unit, and they are also supportive. And IT support is really interesting, because sometimes you can have problem to navigate through your classroom, and they are ready to provide. I think if you go to IT desk support, 24 hours during the 7 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, our IT support is 24/7, which is very important because our students like Elysée are studying, all over the world in different time zones, and connections do vary in terms of networks, and sometimes networks do fail and it's hard to get online. So there is a support service for that, so that we can support our students. Also, Elysée, you touched upon the enrollment advisor, and that your enrollment advisor left, and then what was replaced was a student support member, and that's typical of the program. And we have specialists that are there for particular needs that our students have. First, we have our enrollment advisors, and they're really there to make sure that you make the best decision in terms of the course that you pick, and make sure that your application is as strong as possible. We'll also go over all the financial information with you. Then a student support specialist is really there to start dealing with you once you're on the course, studying in your module, and helping you support you to be successful. And then, as Elysée says, we have our IT support, we have the library, and we have faculty members that are in class also to support you along the way. So quite a robust support network in terms of the people. But online it's very important also to have support tools. We have a number of support tools available. Elysée, we have here the prospective student. Elysée, we have the prospective.
Sorry.
Hello? Yes, Elysée, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would like to highlight one thing about the support team.
Of course.
Yeah, there is also what I forgot, and maybe you didn't even mention it. You know, even the classmates, they were really, really supportive. And for example, when you don't find, you know, you open your reads, your article, and you don't succeed, they were always someone there in your classroom saying, oh, you have to do this, you have to copy this link and paste this on this way. They were really also, it's another way of support we benefited from Roehampton.
I think that's it. It can be a bit lonely, you know, studying online, and so what we try to do at University of Roehampton is bring you into that community as much as possible. That's what you know, the purpose of the presentations like this are today, is to get you to meet Elysée members of our community, but also in the classroom. And it's very important that students take advantage of these networking opportunities. Elysée, you're about to graduate and go to your ceremony. What we like to say is graduation is, you know, just the beginning, and you'll also have a great opportunity, Elysée, to network and to build your alumni network now that you've finishing studying, and that's a network that can continue to support you throughout your career with your professional development. When you were first making this choice, there was the prospective student website that you might have gone on to have a look, Elysée, at what programs we had. There was a student readiness experience, which was your preparation module that prepared you for the course, the mini module. And then we had the Roehampton Center for Student Success, where you can find, you know, our writing center, which helps with forming strong arguments and good original writing. And we have our Grammarly checker on there. Did you use any of these support tools, these online tools and services? And if so, how did you use them?
Yes, I usually use the Grammarly.com, and
that's fine.
Yeah, it was. I always use this before to submit my assignment to make sure that my English was very good, if I respected normal rules of English grammar. And I also use the student readiness experience reading and different information posted on this.
Thank you very much. And a lot of our participants today, Elysée, may be joining Roehampton Online in the next couple of days, and we'll have just come through the Roehampton student readiness experience. So congratulations to all of those that have come through that process and passed that first assessment piece that we have. And we look forward to you being very successful in the class, because we know that students that are successful in our preparation material are successful in their first module. So we wish you the best of luck. Now, Elysée, thank you very much for going through with so much detail into your experience. Now is a great opportunity for our students to ask you whatever question they want to ask that will allow them to understand a bit better what studying online at the University of Roehampton is all about. So for anyone who's got a burning question, please go to the Q&A box and start typing your questions in if you haven't already. And we're just going to pick a few out. So Elysée, I'm going to ask you any questions. These are live. These questions are not prepared. So Elysée, if you don't know the answer to the question, that's fine. We can't know everything, but let's see if we can try to answer some of these questions. So one question from our audience member, Elysée: how are students assessed? Are there tests or are there any exams on the course? Did you have to do any exams? Okay.
No, during every module, as I said, you have what we call shared activities that you have to participate. As we said, it's a collaborative work with your classmates. And you have to submit, you know, a paper on shared activities. But also there is what we call individual assignment. On the individual assignment, every unit, and as I said, a unit lasts 2 weeks, and within a module there are 6 units, and you have to submit for every unit an individual or 2, sometimes 2 individual assignments. And at the end of the module, but of course, you will get feedback from your instructor about your shared activities and your individual assignment. And the feedback will push you to go further or to go and search for more information on this. And at the end of the module, you will have to prepare a project. And this is the project that we can call a kind of, it's not really an exam. Sometimes you have to combine your individual assignments. Of course, you have to improve them, work on them, and develop this project that you will submit to your instructor. And your instructor will come back with rank and feedback on your module.
Nice, thank you very much for that. And you touched upon that earlier in terms of getting feedback and understanding what else you had to read. We have a question today. Hello, I understand that reading articles only from the ones in the syllabus is not enough. How many additional articles should I read in order to succeed in my shared activities and individual assignments? So this is about additional reading that isn't featured in our recommended reading on the learning platform. How much extra reading and did you source for yourself, Elysée?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the articles mentioned or posted in the syllabus are kind of example. They are the minimum you have to read, but you have also to go to the library to search for more information. Yes. And this is very important, because it's going to be your first step in contact with the library, in contact with research, and it's going to help you at the end of your module and also at the end of your program when you will be preparing your research projects. I can't tell you exactly how many, 2, 3, 4. This depends on the topic, and this depends on how you want to go further in this unit or in this topic. It will depend on the topic. Sometimes you will have to read 2, and sometimes you will have to read 1, and sometimes to stick only on the articles posted in your module.
Well, I think that you've touched on an important point there. There is a grading rubric. The grading rubric gives all of our students an indication of how the instructor grades work, and A grade work is usually representative of doing the recommended reading, finding some extra and sourcing some extra academic reading, and those are journal articles, finding some tangible examples of organizations or companies out there that have experienced that, and then pulling in your own personal experience into that. And that's what we'd consider a good piece of work. Now, that work must be original and also must be cited and referenced. So that's very, very important. We have a really interesting question here, Elysée, and it's always nice to branch out and talk about some of the maybe different challenges that people have depending on where they are or their status in life. We have a question here from a brave woman who said, do you think that it'll be more difficult for a lady than a man to study? As personally I'm a wife and a pharmacist, and I have to start my master on December 3rd, and I am afraid to fail. So that's a very good question. Do you think it's harder for a woman than a man to maybe study online? Hello? I'm sorry, we appear to have lost Elysée right when we were just asking a question. So if you just bear with me, we'll just call. Hi, Elysée. Sorry, we just lost you for a second. Sorry, participants, that we had to reconnect. This is a very good indication.
Oh, thank you.
No, no problem, Elysée. This is a very good indication of what we had, and we had a question actually online from someone in Nigeria who said, how do you manage having not so fast internet, average time you spend studying per day, and with the generally not so fast internet connections in Africa, how did you manage? Because I'm in Namibia and really need confirmation as it's not too difficult to do while in Africa, but certain parts of Africa or the globe might have poor connection like we've just experienced. How did you manage?
Okay, yeah, this is always the question asked when you start. Oh, we don't. The quality of internet is very poor. I can do this. Yeah, and when I started this program, I was in Democratic Republic of Congo in Goma, not even in the capital. The quality of internet was really poor, and after that, I passed 1 year in Congo, and I went to Ghana. And it's close to Nigeria. I passed 2 years, almost 1 year in Ghana, and I continued studying. And I would like to assure to my colleague that from Nigeria that it's possible. What I used to do is that when you have access to internet, you go to INSPIRENET and read the news and download the articles, and if you can print them or if you can have them as PDF on your and it allows you to read them even if you are offline.
Okay.
And you will only need internet when you want to post or to read the feedback or to comment other classmates' work. And what I think, as I'm not an IT person, I found out also that you don't need a high-speed internet to be able to access the INSPIRENET. Sometimes it's very easy to have access to INSPIRENET than it's easier than to access to Yahoo, for example, or to Google. Yeah, I think you don't need an ADSL with a good quality of internet to be able to do this.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. So I wanted to go back to the question before you cut off, Elysée, because it's nice to answer that question for that participant. Do you think it's for a lady it'll be more difficult than for a man on the course? As personally, I'm a wife and a pharmacist, and I'll start my master's on December 3rd, and I'm afraid to fail. Do you think it'd be any harder for a man or a woman, or do you think that makes a difference?
No. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I don't think so. I think, as I said, it depends on how you are organized. It doesn't depend on how much work are you doing at your office or at home. I know, especially in Africa, women are doing a lot of work and very hard work at home. Yes. But also women are, I think, if they are well organized, they will be able to do it. As men also, they go, especially in Africa, they go to pub, even in Europe, they go to pub and have beers. There is always a way of, wasting time. But if you have a good plan, I think it doesn't matter if you are a man or a woman.
Yeah, so listen to the project manager students, because our project management students are our most organized students, because they're project managers, and in order to be project managers, you have to be extremely well organized. So thank you very much, Elysée, for shedding some light on those questions. I'm just going to guide you through some next steps for our prospective students there who are still applying. Your next steps in terms of inquiring, applying, and preparing. If you haven't done so already, to send your CV and your academic certificates as proof of identification to your enrollment advisor, and they can discuss your options and go through application with you. Then you'll complete that application for the chosen start date. For those of you that are looking to apply, December will be too late, so we'll be into next year's enrollment, so please speak to your enrollment advisor about that. There's Prepare, which is sign and return your student agreement, make your first payment, and join INSPIRENET to create your profile and orientation activities. So if any students entering December are having any issues with these, please make sure that you consult your enrollment advisor and can get the classroom access that you need. That's very, very important. I'd like to thank you very much, Elysée, for your time today. It's been wonderful to speak to you and to hear your insight about the course. For any of our prospective students that are in our webinar today, please remember our new student welcome webinar is on Thursday, so we can see you in class. Elysée, I'd just like to ask you, do you have one last piece of advice for anyone who might be thinking about joining the University of Roehampton online or doing a higher education course online? Have you got any advice?
Yes. I would like to advise to the new, especially to the students or to people who would like to register at Roehampton University, and who are fearing about not having enough time or not be able to manage the time. I think try, and this is important, as if you register and saying, oh, maybe let's pay for the first module, and I will see. This was my strategy, saying, oh, let's pay for the first module. If I cannot make it, maybe I will postpone. And if you are in, it becomes interesting and exciting. You will find time, and I'm sure you will manage it. And as you have like support units, they will help you. And please don't hesitate to ask them questions. I cannot say that they are paid for that, but what I saw, they did a great job in providing information, in responding to our questions. Please don't hesitate. Just dive in. I'm sure you'll find a solution.
Well, thank you very much for those wise words, Elysée. Thank you for your time today, and good luck with your graduation. Build your network, and I know it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for you. Thank you to all our participants today. We're sorry that we didn't get to all questions, but your enrollment consultant, student support will be back to you with some answers to some of those unanswered questions. So thank you very much, and I will see you all in class.
Thank you.
Thank you.